The UN Syria Commission has released a new report calling into question the actions of the United States inside of Syria. The report condemns the United States for not taking the necessary measures to protect civilians from the bombing raids that they've carried out against the country. The Commission is gravely concerned about the impact of international coalition airstrikes on civilians. It cites the March 2017 incident in Al-Jina in Aleppo, in which forces of the United States of America failed to take all feasible precautions to protect civilians and civilian objects when attacking a mosque in violation of international humanitarian law. It also mentions the situation in Raqqa, in which ongoing Syrian Democratic Forces and international coalition offensive to repeal the Islamic State have displaced over 190,000 persons, and coalition airstrikes have reportedly resulted in a significant number of civilians killed and injured. It added that investigations are still ongoing. Now, the report also does mention that there are about 20,000 civilians that are currently trapped in Raqqa, unable to escape the terrorist stronghold, according to the UN. Now, which urged the U.S. coalition last month to cease bombing the area to allow people to leave the city safely. Thus far, the United States has not responded in any official capacity. Now, this is a trademark of the United States to just indiscriminately bomb countries. This was the case with Iraq, this was the case of Afghanistan, and in many cases in the past, particularly with regards to World War II, the Korean War, and Vietnam, they were deliberately targeting population centers for destruction by bombs, and not to mention the most famous case of all, Nagasaki and Hiroshima, who had nuclear bombs dropped on them by the United States because they were major civilian populations. This has been a trademark of the United States to just simply indiscriminately kill civilians. This is the way imperialism functions. The whole point of the U.S. war on Syria is to destabilize and destroy the country, not to save people as they claim. This is made manifest in the actions that they take. We don't see this big, humanitarian effort. We see this indiscriminate bombing of civilians because that's what this is about. If this was a humanitarian effort, if this was about saving the Syrian people, they would be saving them, not killing them. And this is one of those crimes of U.S. imperialism that is going to continue on for the entire foreseeable future, because nobody can actually stand up to the United States and what it's doing, since the United Nations does receive about an estimated 60% of its operating revenue from the United States, or particularly the budget. So 60% of its budget comes from the United States. Any criticism of the U.S., and in some cases in the past, a criticism of Israel, has resulted in the United States threatening to withhold funds. In other words, the UN is a body that is really only there to serve U.S. interests, and any time it tends to criticize the United States, they're punished for doing so. And in that regard, we see that the UN cannot actually step up and do anything about the crimes that the United States has committed against the world since its founding. And this is one of the things that reminds us why imperialism needs to be the primary contradiction. Because right now it is the biggest problem. It is the biggest barrier to many countries having their own revolutions at home against their own ruling classes, because the United States is being given a free hand to go across the world and murder indiscriminately. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.